Hello, welcome to Introspection with Jeff. For this episode, I wanted to talk about something that occurred to me earlier today as I was getting dressed, ready for work. It was a really snowy morning. I really hate those mornings where you have to go out and you have to scrape. First of all, I woke up late. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and that's a time typically I have to be in my car, at least getting to my car to be able to. I had somebody whose life is so dramatic, usually by their own, as a result of their own actions. They draw negative attention or mocking, more likely mocking. Sorry about the hair. Speaking of mocking attention to themselves. Um, and so I was listening to somebody commenting on a call way back that Chris Chan had. I don't remember the girl's name. Um, it was you can fall into the trap of to your own detriment. There's a for those fans. There's a Transformers episode. It's called I think it's called Auto Berserk, where one of a character on the good side, becomes paranoid that his companions are out to get him or out to get rid of him. And meanwhile, on the bad side, the one of the characters has characteristically been Starscream has characteristically been trying to get rid of his leader, and in some sense, he's right. I mean, there are some people really out to get rid of him, namely his leaders. Is probably reconsidering why he's in this team. So the two of them meet up. The paranoid character named Red Alert, ironically the security chief, in private comes across Starscream from the bad Decepticon faction, and Starscream convinces Red Alert that his suspicions are true, that Optimus Prime, the leader of the good guys, is really out to get rid of him, and that the others really are negative towards him, and they don't value him. So rather than being in addition to being an entertaining episode, I think of that episode when it comes to thoughts about being duped into thinking that what you're going through is what someone else is going through. You could place yourself in Red Alert's situation, and the warning is, don't let yourself listen to the words of Starscream, who's projecting his own fears and his own worries and concerns onto you. So, all right, now a little bit of background. Chris Chan has been a famous figure on YouTube, or infamous figure. He wanted to get a date. He wanted to find someone and become romantic and date and have a normal life. And he got a lot of mockery and a lot of people making fun of him on YouTube, and I mean to outrageous extremes. But in this video that I was listening to last night, it was kind of touching. It was excerpts. Actually, it wasn't a phone call. It was excerpts. These were excerpts between him and this girl, and I could see myself in some sense in him. The girl said that she just wanted to be friends, and he was pushing boundaries, so to speak, and she was uncomfortable with that. And so she would write these emails saying, I don't have time for you in my life, basically, and um, I just want to be friends, and so forth and so on. So I don't think we. Oh yes, we did get some excerpts of his emails, but anyway, it reminded me of well, Punky Brewster, the person that I went to school with, who I've been naming Punky Brewster. Um, there are clear differences between myself and Chris Chan. Um, in the case of Punky Brewster, I also wanted to be friends. I didn't have the benefit that Chris Chan had in that the girl that Punky Brewster didn't respond back and tell me, "Hey, I just want to be friends." So I was left in the dark. Um, but I can I can sympathize with Chris Chan in the sense of wanting somebody. I mean, just wanting to be friends, have some kind of a relationship with a girl. Um, and I also wanted to ask, actually, um, Punky Brewster at some point, um, well, at a few points, wondered what what I wanted of her, even though I had been sending letters and asking to explain why this disconnect, why these mixed signals, and so forth. And it seemed like the same case in Chris Chan's situation, where even though I don't know whether you call those mixed signals, because she was clearly telling him she just wants to be friends. I wondered, um, I don't want to sound misogynistic. Um, I've noticed sometimes there was another video, actually. There was another video I was watching, totally different topic. Um, but that got me wondering if this is common amongst women, or at least younger, like girls, young women, um, like school age, um, that they don't think enough of the other person, or the common phrase being, um, they're um, they they don't. I don't want to say they want to be left alone. That's not the point. They want to. They seem not ambivalent. They seem ambiguous. Um, that period of sending mixed signals, basically, I guess that's what I'm getting at. I'm wondering how common that is, um, and um, and I thought in general, um, I'm still unmarried. I haven't been in a relationship. I'm 47, and that does sound sad. I'm missing out on a lot of experiences. I'm missing out on a lot. It feels like I'm missing out. It's been feeling like I'm missing out on a lot. And this channel is called introspection. So I know part of it is looking for someone Jewish specifically, because I'm Jewish, and I wouldn't want to waste someone else's time by dating them if I didn't want them. If I only wanted to um, get into a serious relationship with someone Jewish. So therein um, I consider myself pretty mature in that I don't want to waste someone else's time. I've wanted to be clear, so forth. But it seems like I'm the only Jew around, and everyone else is attached. Thinking critically, um, here's what I've done in terms of trying to find someone. I've gone through a lot of dating sites. I mean, 20 years ago, something like that. I went through a lot of dating sites, and even more than 20 years ago. OkCupid, JRetroMatch, so forth, and I spent some money, um, and I wasn't able to find someone. Geographically, for one thing, they weren't around where I am, and two, they didn't want a long distance relationship. Okay, those are common factors I experienced, and um, in the case of Chris Chan, he didn't have that religious um, predicament where he was looking for someone of a certain persuasion. He was more open. Um, I I don't know if I'm willing to compromise on that, um, which is sad. So I mean, it's sad that I don't want to. It's sad that that my unwillingness to compromise and to give up part of my own Jewish identity in order to find someone is preventing me from finding someone. Um, so, actually, I should also mention that earlier this year, watching a Chris Chan documentary piece on YouTube inspired me to contact Punky Brewster and text. And I talked about this in earlier videos. That's what led to the 2-hour phone call. That was really nice. That clued me in on some questions I had, some lingering mysteries I had. Um, but I part of the point of this video is that I'm wondering if it's common for girls of that age. I mean, like, is mid-teens, early 20s, um, to it seems like think of themselves or be more self-centered and not think of the other person. Um, I'm not talking about someone who tells the other person directly, um, I don't have time for you in my life right now, or I let's just be friends. Um, it's more to the people that don't that aren't honest with the other person. And I'm also sort of wondering about the ones who do say, um, I don't have time for you in my life or whatever. And I don't want to sound misogynistic. Is that a way of brushing some? Is that more of a self-centered way? I'm trying to put myself in a woman's shoes, like a of that age. Um, you're getting. I guess I would be getting more attention if I were a woman. I would be getting more attention. I'd be hit on basically by guys quite a bit, and I can understand being kind or smiling or um, um, easing, to avoid being awkward, um, to um, come across as being friendly. And I suppose, like early on, if you have experience, like girls are probably experiencing that, what they call the male gaze. Girls are probably experiencing that at an early age anyway, and they're probably used to it, and they probably build up a habit of being friendly but not too friendly. Okay, I get that. Um, but and then of course from my point of view, I mean, guys um, are used to being rejected quite often. I don't know how many women are used to being rejected as often. Um, Maybe it's a different experience. As I've mentioned before, I'd like to write a book or do a video or something called The Masculine Mystique. Um, Kind of a parody on the feminine mystique, the famous book, The Feminine Mystique. And I can't remember the name of the author, but it's a classic book. A masculine mystique, explaining what life is like, what the world is like from a masculine point of view. Um, so that's it. I basically wanted to do this short video. I wanted to examine what got me, excuse me, what got me to the spot where I'm not married. I haven't had a relationship, and I've just turned 47. Part of it's geography. Part of it is something I'm not willing, and geography, and that I'm not willing to compromise on losing my Jewish identity, marrying into someone of some um, other religion, other culture, because first of all, I came from an interfaith family, and secondly, and they didn't last together for whatever reason. I'm looking into that. I believe there were personality clashes sometimes, enough to keep them apart. And I I live in a non-Jewish world. I don't know how well non-Jews can understand this, but Judaism and Christianity are very different. They're very different outlooks, philosophical outlooks on life. Um, and secondly, the observances, the practices, like having a bar mitzvah when you're a child, and a certain wedding, um, Yom Kippur, the holidays are different. Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, um, Christmas being, excuse me, Christmas being very different from Hanukkah, totally different reason, totally different observance and origin. Um, I, 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 I believe I deserve someone Jewish in order that I can maintain my own Jewish identity and not have to have it be diluted in a marriage. And I just haven't been able to find that. And I might as well mention that something good, actually. I wanted to say this anyway. Something happy. I thought in these past few videos, I'm I feel dismay that I have been more introspective. I mean, I feel more dismay in that, being more introspective, I haven't been smiling as often. But then again, I thought maybe that shows that I'm um, being serious and straightforward, and I'm not sugarcoating any of this. Um, all right, to put it bluntly, my cousins, my mom's side of the family, her brother had a son and daughter, and the son would be my first cousin. So I've had some communication with him. It's building. There's a relationship growing. It's been too infrequent for my taste, but I'll take anything at this point because they're family. They're practically the only family I have left. I mean, um, my mother's father had another sibling, and I've been developing a relationship with that part of the family too. Um, I've I've mentioned this in an earlier video. Um, my mom would take me on walks, or basically tell me stories about about her side of the family, about her father, and about her brother and her brother's son, who's again my first cousin. And when I would listen to them, I noticed traits about them. In fact, many times she would point out these anecdotes or these stories because she was pointing out some common trait that we shared. And so I wanted to build up that relationship in the with this family, because otherwise I feel like such an outsider. It feels like I'm looking through a glass at what my life could have been, because I saw these similar traits, and um, I did some research like on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I learned what these other family members have done in their lives. Um, for one thing, they were in New York City, and I'm way out in like the boondocks. I'm in central New York, which is very different from New York City. You don't have as many job opportunities. Maybe it's less expensive. Maybe that's why my mom moved here, for one thing, instead of settling back in New York City. Um, but for whatever reason, um, I grew up in a more secure, more safe neighborhood. But it's cheaper cost of living, but I suffered in some sense the rest of it by not having the job opportunities. It basically killed me off. I feel that it basically killed me off. Um, I wanted to go into film and entertainment. I wanted to be a television writer and then create TV series. And I thought that since it seems that my that aspiration of mine may be over, I might as well share on this channel, do a video and share what my TV series ideas would have been, and movie ideas. I mean, I'm giving them up. Basically, I wondered about that. I'm giving them out to the public domain, I guess. Um, but I wanted to get married, and in order to get married, you have to have a sustaining job and career, basically. And I'm up here in central New York. I didn't have much of a job, and then whatever girls tell you, or whatever the sugar coated message is, I still had the impression that um, if you don't have, as a guy, if you don't have a job with a car with some kind of sustaining income, that a woman would act nice towards you, but wouldn't give you the time of day. And that's a little morsel of the masculine mystique. If I ever do this, that's a teaser, a morsel of the masculine mystique. Um, and I'm not Jewish. I mean, I'm Jewish in a largely non-Jewish area, as opposed to, I'm guessing, New York City, where if you just put your name into a dating site and you say you're looking for someone Jewish, there's somebody like in the next neighborhood, the Bronx, Brooklyn, I don't know, Central Islip, however you pronounce the name. There are people, there are Jews, there are Jewish women around looking. Um, it doesn't seem like that here. Um, so I felt like my life, my aspirations, and the dream, the the kind of happy life I imagined for myself, I can't see as panning out or becoming real. I'll go back to the happy, bright side. So I had been talking with my first cousin a few times over the years, and this the other day, and then this morning, something really wonderful happened. His wife responded to me on online, and she said that yes, that trait, that my trait that I happen to notice in the Singer family about research, enjoying research, and researching something you're passionate, just for the sake of research, just for the sake of absorbing and learning more and more about some topic you're passionate about. She said that that's definitely a Singer trait, and she shared a couple of photos And I'm keeping all these, I'm keeping copies of all these photos. Um, Somebody in an organization I belong to said that there's typically one family member in every, I guess, large family unit. I don't mean just a small, I mean a larger extended family group. There's typically somebody who's especially interested in maintaining family trees and ancestry research and gathering information about family members. I guess perhaps I'm that person in this group. Maybe there's somebody else. Um, but I wanted to say it made me happy that she she wasn't ignoring me, because that's been my big concern, my big fear. Um, they've been more successful. That side of the family has been more successful in life. Successful meaning that they've had more job experiences and more life experiences than I don't know if I would be able to have. But I still have hope, and I until my final, dying breath or something, um, I, I, um, I'll keep at it and keep making the effort, keep at it. Um, so anyway, I want to share that the thought that don't the kind of life lesson. Be careful not to succumb to somebody else whose situation might be like yours. Don't copy the other person necessarily, because they may um, they may have the wrong attitude. They may be approaching it entirely wrong, and don't go down the wrong path. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.